What's up guys, this is Jared or Cowpoke from Cowpoke Studios. I'm going to teach you guys a really simple way to track your scenes and put 3D objects inside of them. For this tutorial, I'm only going to use After Effects and Blender. Alright, like every good special effects tutorial, we're going to start off by opening After Effects, and you're going to create a new project. Now that we're in our new project, we're going to import the videos that we want to track, video or videos. What you're going to do is import your shots. I have my regular shot, and I'm also going to import a wide shot to show you how the camera lens works. So first we have the regular shot right here, and this one is just me walking around my yard, just regular. And then we have the wide shot, and this is the wide shot. So now we have the wide shot, same thing except with a wider lens. So you set your phone to 0.5, or if you have a different camera, you can zoom the lens out. Obviously, all I'm going to do is show you how to track it, and then I'm going to show you how to import your tracking into Blender so that you can put a 3D object into your tracked scene, and then I'll show you how to export it back into After Effects once you've got it rendered. So basically, I'm going to use the regular one because I want to. I'll show you the tracking on both of them, but I'm going to use the regular one. So what you're going to do is right click either the name regular, the one that you're on, or you can right click on the timeline. It'll be the same thing. Track and stabilize, and then track camera. You can also go to your effects bar right here and search camera tracker, and it'll be 3D camera tracker right here. You can just drag it onto there. But for time's sake, I like to just right click, track and stabilize, and then track camera. So now it's tracking. It's just going to look at every pixel and find which ones stay consistent through the entire video, and then it's going to stick a little point on there. With its default settings, it should get everything you need. It'll just be a few seconds depending on how long your clip is. All right, so now it's done, and as you can see, I have a lot of tracking points. And you see this red circle, it's the target. So this target is basically telling you how a group of 3 points is tracked and what it looks like when it's flattened. So this is what the floor is going to be whenever I put it into Blender. So what you can do is just click wherever you like the way the target looks, and then right click, and you can choose your settings there, or you can select a bunch at once and then use the average of all these points tracked, which is what I like to do. So I selected all these. I'm going to right click. I'm going to go to set ground plane and origin. This is for your 3D space in Blender. This will put your scene right in the middle. And then you're going to right click it again and do create solid and camera. Now you have a tracked solid right there. And it's just a plane, just a flat object. And it's just basically showing you how well you tracked your shot. And also you can import this to Blender, which I'll show you next, to use as your base plate. I'm going to switch over to the wide really quick just to show you how well the tracking works. Right click, track and stabilize, track camera, and it'll do all the work for you. All right, so it finished tracking. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It looks like it got really close tracking points, but that shouldn't be a problem. You can still do the same thing. So what I would do is find the middle point of your video. For me, it's right there. So it's about right here. And then do the same thing we did earlier. Select a bunch of points or select the ones you like the most. So now you're going to select all these points, right click, set ground plane, create solid. Boom, you're at the same point as we are now, and you'll do all the same stuff that we're doing with the regular shot, just to show that it can track wide shots, regular, close-up. After Effects is pretty good. So now we're going to take a pause on After Effects and move over to Blender. So if you've been wondering why my webcam has been in such a weird spot, it's so that you can see the collection in Blender, all of the items that are going to be in my scene. There's only going to be one plugin used in this video, and it's AE2Blend. So I couldn't find the original upload of the creator who made AE2Blend, but I just uploaded the one that I have downloaded to Mediafire, and that'll be in the description. If you feel like downloading it, if not, I'm sure you can find another way to put your data into Blender, but this works best for me. So you're gonna download this, unzip the AE2Blend file. In Blender, you'll go to Edit, Preferences, and then you'll have to click on Add-ons right here. And then this little arrow up here in the top corner of the Add-ons tab, click it and then install from disk. What you're gonna do next is go to wherever you have the AE2Blend folder, open the folder, and then double click the .py file that is the latest version. Don't worry about your Blender version being outdated. It'll still work the same. It works for me. So I already have it installed right here. This is what your layout looks like. Set your orientation to XYZ, and then what you're gonna do is go back to After Effects. Pretty much all the data you need is gonna be in this little object right here. You're going to press U, and it's going to show you your position and rotation of your camera. And so this is just where your camera moves in the 3D space. So you're gonna select position, control click orientation, and then control C, copy. And then you're gonna go back to Blender and you're gonna go to AE to blend. And right here, there's a button that says create camera. You're gonna click it. All right, so once you have your data imported after clicking create camera, you'll notice that the keyframes are one step behind. So since After Effects starts on frame 0 and Blender starts on frame 1 for animation, you're just gonna scoot this forward by 1 frame. So once all of these keyframes are selected, just you click A and it selects them all. And then you're gonna scoot it forward 1 frame, and that's all. That's all you gotta do with that. And then however long you want your scene to be, which I would set it to the full length of your tracking data, that's how long you'll set your Blender render. So, you know, you can see that little line there. That's moving up, and then this number is your frame. So since it says 298, I'm setting this to 298, and then boom. So now it's moving the way that I want it to. That camera is exactly where my phone was in 3D space. So now I'm gonna import my solid that I created in After Effects. The solid that you're seeing on my screen is the same as before. You don't have to change anything. I just had a technical difficulty and I had to remake it. So this is that solid from before. And all you have to do is go to the properties of the solid and then transform right here on this little part. And then you're gonna grab the top 4 things. So anchor point, position, scale, and orientation. That's all you need. So you're grabbing those and then your control C, and then you're gonna go back to Blender and you're gonna just go down to AE to blend and click create plane. All that's gonna do is put the plane in your video where you had it in After Effects. If you don't know, to look through your camera in Blender, you're gonna press tilde and then press view camera or 1. And now I'm looking through the eyes of my camera. So this is exactly what I recorded in my video. And the reason it might look a little bit off is because if you can see here, when you open up your camera, if you click camera right here and then camera data, which is this green button right here, and then you go to your focal length, it's at 50. And this is not what an iPhone records on. So what we're gonna do is go back into After Effects, and then down here, what I love about After Effects is if you double click the 3D tracker camera, it'll tell you your lens size in millimeters and your angle of view. I'm gonna take this, copy the angle of view, and then I'm gonna go back to Blender. Now in Blender, what I'm gonna do is where it says millimeters right here, where this focal length is, I'm gonna go to field of view, and then I'm gonna paste in the number that I just got from After Effects. So this is the exact field of view of my camera. It moves a little bit slow. I don't know if you can see that, but it's moving a little bit slower than I was, and I know how to fix that. So basically, if you're having the same problem where the camera's moving slow, or maybe it's moving really fast and you don't want that and you want it to move exactly how it did in your original video, what you're gonna do is go to this button right here where it says output, and then where it says format, you can see the frame rate. My phone recorded on 30 frames per second. If you used a different camera or use stock footage, you can also see what the frame rate of that footage is by going to your After Effects project and then clicking on the footage you used, and it'll know what your frame rate is for that shot. So for me, it says it's 29.995. That's pretty much 30 frames per second. And most phones record on 30 frames per second. So back in Blender, at the frame rate section, I'm gonna change 24 to 30 because that's what my phone records on. So now it will match the video that I upload perfectly. So now what I'm gonna do is go back to my camera data section on Blender, go to background images, check that on, and then I'm gonna go down here, add image, movie clip. And then you're gonna open your video file that you took, that you tracked in After Effects. So this is the video that I took. I now have it on the background, and you don't have to do this, but it helps me focus on it. You can turn the opacity up or down, I guess, if you want to. This just lets you see how much you can see on the camera. The scene is tracked perfectly to my camera, like how I wanted it to be, and now I can place my 3D object. So like I was saying, you don't necessarily need this plane right here. I just use it to make sure it lines up with the floor. So now I'm gonna make my plane invisible. You can just do that by clicking these two and also these two to make it completely hidden from the renders and the viewport. What I want in my scene is a floating monkey head, or, you know, anything. You could put a cube, you could put a character, you could put an object, whatever. I'm gonna put a floating monkey head. All I want is this floating monkey head, and I'm just gonna place it roughly where I want it. Using the plane also helps decide where you wanna put your monkey head. And I want mine to be like right in the middle of the shot. So that's pretty much right in the middle there. I'm gonna rotate it a little bit. I'm gonna put it where I want it. And then I'm gonna turn my plane back off. And now when I move my video, the monkey head stays right where I want it to in the video. So this is exactly how I want it to look. This is perfect. I'm gonna show you guys how to do shadow catching and also matching the lighting in the next video, which is advanced camera tracking. But for now, let's just stick with this. It's in the scene how I want it to be. It's tracked pretty well. And you know, maybe I want it to be laying down in the grass. Instead of floating, I'll lay it in the grass. Now that this is how I want it to look, I'm going to go back to my camera here, and then I'm going to turn off background images. And then in here, render, you're gonna click this, and then you're gonna scroll all the way down to where it says film. In the film section, you're gonna turn on transparent, because what this is gonna do is make the background of your render transparent, so that when you render this shot, it'll have no background and you can just put this shot directly on top of your video and it'll be there. Now, depending on if you used Blender before or not, your render engine might be on Cycles or Eevee. Right now mine's on Eevee. I'm just gonna keep it there for time's sake. What I'm gonna do to fix the darkness is I'm gonna go to add. I'm just gonna add a little sun right here so I can kind of match my scene. You know, it could be a pretty light sun. Then you'll go to your little bulb right here. This is the sun. You can turn this up or down. I'm gonna turn it to like, I'll just say like 5. The lighting's pretty good. It has some sunlight, some shadow. So this is good. This is what I want. This is perfect. And now we're gonna render it. So basically you're gonna go to the output section. Make sure your frames start and end are at where they should be. And since my camera tracking goes from 1 to 298 only, and it doesn't go past that or before that, I'm gonna set this to 1, 298. It should already be there if you set it down here, same thing. And then you're gonna go to output. And basically what this is gonna do is choose a folder or a spot on your computer where you want this sequence to be exported to. So what I'm gonna do is create a folder on my desktop, and I'm gonna call it monkey head. Inside of that folder, I'm gonna name this monkey underscore. And you'll see why I add the underscore in a second. So just name it, whatever you wanna name it, underscore. And also make sure it's in a folder, because when this exports, it's gonna be a bunch of little images. Right here underneath where you put the name of the file, you'll go to file format, and it'll be on one of these, but you're gonna set it to PNG, because that's just an image with a clear background. And then right here, it might say RGB, but set it to RGBA so that you can get the data of the transparent background into the picture. You can keep pretty much all your settings the same as long as you have an output section so you don't lose all your data, but as long as you have your selected folder that you want it in and a little name with an underscore, it'll make an image sequence and number it in order. Now that I have all my render settings set up, I'm gonna go up here and click render and then do render animation. As you can see, mine's rendering pretty quick. It depends on what you have in your scene, but up here is the speed of each render. Sometimes it'll be slower and you just kind of have to accept that. Anytime you're rendering anything, it's gonna be pretty slow. All right, so now my render's done. Frame 298, you can see that it's not processing anything anymore. Now this is completely done. So you can close the render tab. I would save your project. So Control S, or you go to File and then Save As, and then now you can close it. Now that we're back in After Effects, I'm gonna show you how to import your 3D data to After Effects. So what you're gonna do is go to the import section, import file. You're gonna find the folder that you rendered all of that data into. Basically, you click the first shot, monkey 0001, and then right here, it should already say PNG sequence, but you're gonna turn that on. Make sure it's on, and then you're gonna import. All right, so now that that's imported, if your render is in 24 frames per second or anything other than 30, what you have to do is right click it, go to interpret footage, main, right here where my footage is at 30 frames per second, so I can leave it. But if you have 24, all you're doing is changing it to 24, or if you have 60, you'll change it to 60, that kind of thing. But mine's already at 30. So now that that's all set up, I'm just gonna drag and drop the monkey sequence right here, and then boom, it's in the spot that I put it in the scene. And whenever I move my camera, it moves with the scene. So now I can just get rid of the solid I want to. Now you just have your video of your monkey head in your shot, and it's tracked pretty much perfectly. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial on how to put 3D objects into a video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Also, Terraria Show episode 1 is about to drop. I've been working really hard on that. So has Jaden, so has all the actors. Everyone who's working on the Terraria Show has been working very, very hard. As for the tutorial, as you can see, it's a pretty simple tutorial. There's no shadows, no light catching, none of that. I'm gonna add that into the advanced tutorial, but for now, this is what we got. I wanna say thank you so much for 3,800 subscribers. We're almost at 4,000. It's only been, what, like less than a month since we dropped the Terraria episode, and we went from 200 to 3.8K. This is insane. The Terraria trailer has 77,000 views, and we could not be any more thankful. I appreciate you guys so much. And I also want to say, we have a Discord. I can put it in the description of this video, and it's also on the bio of the channel. And that's all for this video. Thank you guys for watching.